Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Classics Watopia Cup. We're on a little bit of a course change up today, which is probably what we saw. It was both welcomed and also like a couple of sadistic people out there were like, "No, I can't stand. What are you doing? I wanted my 2 hours of suffering on Watopia Mountain," which I actually really enjoyed Mirror in the Mountain a lot. But we had a little bit of a swap up. WTRL, I think, made a good call. And I really enjoy this course too. The Seaside Sprint is really fun. Very, very tactical, actually. Anna, you were saying you haven't really seen this course much before. I've raced it before. Because of the nature of this course, there are a lot of opportunities. You've got the cobbles, you've got some dirt, you've got the jumping around, jumping around, but the little bumps throughout the S's. A couple of flatter sections. I mean, and it'll also climb into the volcano. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here to take it to the competition if you continue to come at them and don't just sit around.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a sprinter, so I've maybe shied away from any kind of a course I've seen, any of the kind of a race I've seen on this course. But having just looked at it, I think it could be a bit of fun to watch. I mean, we've got 7 laps for C0 and then 6 laps for the ones we're following tonight, C1. And I'm kind of interested to see how these power ups are going to go. We've got the regular kind of aero and draft, but then we've got the burrito thrown into the mix. And I love that one. You know, you cross over the sprint, you drop the burrito, and then no one can get on your draft. So I think that could play a little bit of a role tonight. I think that'll make this course spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, what I've noticed on this course when it comes to trying to get away is you have that sprint, and then immediately following the sprint, that cobbled section has a little uphill bump. And I've done, I think it was like 16 laps on this for the KISS 100, and every lap later in the race, like at that point onto that cobbles, you know, I would attack through there, and then you attack actually on the downhill through the dirt, and the dirt actually slows everybody down a little bit while you're speeding up, and you've got a little bit of a gap because you use the cobbles there with some orange numbers, and can really set some things off. We actually have some crazy power ups being used right off the bat here in this race. So I actually want to get right on down into it because I just saw a ton of burrito power-ups being blown right from the get-go, actually, and they are out the gates, not messing around in this C1. Now, for C1 tonight, this was the highest participation. That's why we chose this. I also did open up the C4 as well, so I will have a little bit, and that's mainly a reward for the reality of Julian Beiser is streaming his race out there tonight. So big shout out to him coming from Team Type One and Team Experimental from way back in the day, riding for both of them out there. So getting the bonus streaming award for someone who's in the race. But Cridlin, Brackfall toward the front here, mashed potato burlesque. This is going to be you're right around 4.2 to 5.2, I think was the averaging that I saw amongst this crowd. Pretty fast crowd out here. Right around that, I would say solid A when it comes to the categories out there. But C1, we're going to have to get used to the new way of categorizing or classing people as we start to get a feel of how this ends up playing out as we get past the testing of this AutoCAT system.
Yeah, I just wondered then why everyone had dropped the power ups as well. And I think when you're looking, there was a little kind of pull off the front at around 5.6 watts a kg, and that pulled up the whole pack speed. And I think you can already see people drifting off the back. I think this has started off so hard that people just had no choice but to drop a power up just to stay on. Seeing some burritos drop there too, which is so unfortunate for that kind of radius of riders behind it. I know when they changed that burrito, I just thought it was awesome because you have what used to be just the one rider behind you. It didn't really have much of an effect, whereas now it's sort of a whole radius. And yeah, it's pretty brutal as we're seeing one of the new NZ Bro pickups, El Neil here coming through on the front. So might be a bit of team tactics going on too. We've already seen two attacks off the front.
Yeah, NZ Bro, a little bit of a kick there for a moment. Now we do see this is going to be the section to really pay attention to. There are sprints through the sprint point here with 6 laps out there. So um, it'll be really interesting to see how this ends up playing in the race, whether or not it breaks things apart. I have a feeling it is going to separate things, but I think it's the attacks after the sprint that maybe some of those thinking about a finish line are going to be paying attention to. Heading to the front though, this section every single lap, I remember attacking over and over again, actually over this little bump to try and separate things early. You get a ton of speed on the other side, and if you come over the top here with a solid 40 plus kilometers per hour, you get into 57 kilometers per hour pretty quickly. This pack though, take a little bit easier than I was expecting over the top here. Nobody really pushing that pace to get to that 57 quickly, and they're only going to hit it at the bottom end of here. So nobody really going to be able to rest up from that, and we're going to get right on into the first sprint. Here we go. Arrow power-ups coming. It's going to be Endo on now. Coming out of Japan, the first one to go, 14
Oh,
watts per kilogram, but Bradfell's holding it off here.
is that
It's
Burlace from
interesting.
Evo?
Yeah,
Oh, that is really fast. Oh my gosh.
right to the
That's
line. Bradfell
insane
held
speed.
it. He actually held it. Now you
Whoa.
can see, wow, pure wattage versus the watts per kilogram. And Team SZ showing up. Now, will there be a counter is going to be my question. Cridlin, and to the front, I would not be surprised. Now, the tactic here is to hold off a moment, not necessarily go just yet. He's going to want to punch. Well, he doesn't even care. He's got 5 meters. And now
Yeah.
this section right here, I was talking about it. They do not gain speed quite as quickly if they're off his wheel. Marks brings it right back in. Cridlin not going quite much of anywhere just yet. On this downhill though here, interesting section, very big separation, and you don't get the coast quite as much. Well, a little bit of a left-hand turn there from a rider. Not sure where that rider's taking off to, but that was interesting. Somebody's off there the Watopia reverse climb now, as we do have an arrow power up here off the front a little bit.
That was probably one of the most insane sprints I've seen. I do recall actually doing a race with that part of the course in it though, and you come on that downhill and you hit that bridge with so much speed, and it is just phenomenal. And those three who were leading through that, wow, they were all down in that really deep sprint position, heads basically touching the handlebars. That was amazing to see. But look at this group come back together. We haven't really seen too much of a split, maybe 1 to 2 riders off the back there, but didn't split as much as I thought through that first sprint.
No, it didn't, and I am seeing, interesting enough, uh, did we? I believe we had one woman in amongst the pack here registered. I want to see if she was able to make the start line. Maybe not. The B's and the A's are mixed together. The B category, or the B pen, not category, is going to be the women's pen, but they do mix them all together now in the new setup, which is kind of cool because everybody then gets somebody to race against around their ability level. To the front now, it's gonna be Landman, Cridlin, all back together pretty much. I think a couple of stragglers though. Some suffering going on after those initial kicks off the back here. Gonna have to work pretty hard. I think some of them are gonna bring this back, perhaps 5-1 toward the front here. Isle of Man, Wahoo Lacole with Oxley.
Oh,
It is gonna be a cryogen right
I
with
don't
the Cryo
know.
Condors. What do you think?
I don't think look how hard that would be to get back on that group. That group is moving pretty quick, and,
They're
it's
about to
quite a
kick
big
again
group as
too.
well, like,
Right
what,
hand
about
turn on the
40
two tier.
people?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
I think
huge
they're
group
gone.
here.
If you've dropped off here, you're gone. Unfortunate because we've got a long way to go solo, but yeah, this group is moving super fast. I'm liking the mix of bikes I'm seeing too. There are a few Trons around, but looks like people have gone for the really fast setup too with the deep dish wheels. I myself am so close to level 45 and getting those really nice looking deep dish wheels. I'm just really trying to nail those last few XP points.
So wait a second, Anna. Are you telling me the Fashion Police does not have everything in game yet? Like you can't get fully set up. We need to still get a few XP points here.
Yeah, it's devastating. It is
It
really
is
devastating I don't
devastating.
have
Oh
those
my
wheels
goodness.
because those wheels are such a good match for the riot kit for the team I ride for. And yeah, I need to knock them out. I'm going to try my last route badge. I've got one more route badge coming up, and I'll try and knock it off.
Cridlin with a little bit of attack off the front actually here. Not able to go much of anywhere just yet though. Nice move, but I found a lot of times that section people do bring it back pretty quickly. So a little bit of a downhill. We've got 6 to go still. 6 to go still. We'll give you a quick little idea of what this course exactly looks like and where they are heading. If you're not familiar with Seaside Sprint, this was one of the rebel routes actually that Zwift Insider had come up with. And it ended up getting put in game after Zwift Insider had released it as a rebel route. It's essentially a route that they were promoting as somewhere cool to go that you could just make turns in order to make it happen. And it got so popular and was such a cool thing that Zwift Insider had promoted, and people were requesting it, and boom, in game it went. So one of the rebel routes that got released into the game for event. Pretty awesome thing that Zwift Insider was able to accomplish there with the help of the community as well. So, how do the points work, Cridlin? Well, you got to go get them, Cridlin. You got to go get them.
I have a feeling Cridlin might be new to this racing. One from that comment, but the other one is his watts seem to be extremely high compared to the bunch behind him, just with those attacks. If he's new to Zwift, this could be a really brutal way to introduce himself to this kind of racing. So, but it's a good question. So the points for tonight's race are on only that sprint segment, the JWB Bridge, 200-meter sprint, and you've got the first across line and fastest time segment. So I would imagine the fastest time segment has been nailed in that first lap, and then we'll be doing first across line for every other lap after that. So 6 laps.
A little bit of a kick off the front with that burrito power up, actually. El Neil using it pretty well, keeping these riders off his wheel for that moment and forcing them to put a little effort in. If you did not know, there was an update to the game a while back that made the burrito power up actually give an area of effect. So it creates a bubble around them essentially, or an area around them that is undraftable. So everybody who is near that rider cannot draft during that time. It is not just right behind the rider for the draft disappearing. So cool little update there from Zwift that came on in. Now, when a lot of them are dropped, though, essentially the entire pack just has no draft whatsoever. But it is something that definitely can be used if when you're trying to break away and somebody's trying to jump onto your wheel. You know, on a course like this, when you do give a little bit of a kick and it gets really frustrating that somebody is trying to go with you with those orange numbers over and over again, you really start putting the pressure down. You feel like a little bit of weakness in that rider. Your power up can definitely help, or a couple of riders around you if you really put the hammer down on them.
Yeah, or if you use it, I mean, this is an individual race, but if you use it as a team strategy, you can have your best sprinter go and then you drop the burrito to everyone behind you so no one can kind of get past you as easily. I've found that as a really good team strategy. Just seeing, noticing the heart rate here of Neil from NZ Bro, 177 beats a minute. So these guys are pushing. I've seen some comments come through as well, how people even talking. So I think people are breathing pretty hard now to just stay in this group. And you can see on that map in the top right, a couple of people have straggled off the back during this S's portion, which, you mentioned at the start, Nathan, these little kick ups up to 11% and then down again. They really just munch through the legs.
NZ Bro definitely popular out there tonight. That's for sure. Mike Brooks, Andy Norton, both coming through with a little bit of cheering on for the competition out there that NZ Bro is bringing. There's gonna be, I believe that's gonna be Larry then on the front there. Neil, 180 beats per minute here. A lot of sacrifice coming from this rider right now here, Anna. At the front, pretty early days still here with 6 to go and 7.2 watts per kilogram at 182 right now. So showing up though, this is the team. I mean, Anna, you said the name NZ Bro, and then suddenly they were everywhere. I'm not kidding. Like I am not kidding. It was like, who are these people? And then next thing I know, like every single race I'm commentating, they're there. They were not there at all, and suddenly they're everywhere. Endo, now here we go. Another sprint. Brackwell took it last time. 13 watts per kilogram. Is the timing there again from this rider? 855, 892. Endo trying to hold on. What is with Brackfall? But no, not going to happen. Can't get around. Maybe right to the line. It just nips it. It looks like. Ooh, Cridlin almost, though. I think Cridlin came through for third, though. That was a good sprint.
What a fast finish. That was amazing from Cridlin. I think he should try and keep this going, try and break the pack now. Speaking about NZ Bro, I have been messaging with him back and forward over the last few days. They have picked up some serious firepower in that C0 category. I'm just looking there at who's on the start list. They've basically picked up the top 10 of the last 3 races and now all racing for NZ Bro. Mark Bosted, John Story, James Harvey, Ben Ruth, Aaron Bleakley. So, yeah, they're basically a pro set of riders in the esports space now. Maybe even contenders to jump up to a prem spot with ZRL coming up soon. That's
Pretty
a
awesome.
huge team. That would be fantastic to see a New Zealand crew in there.
Now, if they wanted to make this happen, what had to happen was they needed to attack into the downhill. You know, the reality of the downhill section through here, if they really wanted to make that count. And I am giving a little bit of a tip here. I was able to put the pack into a lot of hurt, actually, when I was on this course after that sprint, but not immediately going immediately after they slow down from the sprint. You kind of like ride the wheels of those who sprinted, use that momentum without using a whole lot of power to go with them and go along with them until you hit the cobbles. And that cobbles has a little bit of an uphill, 1 to 2% gradient. If you kick right there, you can get I've immediately had like 20 to 30 meters actually on that section almost every lap. And then from there though, you have to attack the downhill. It's got to be like 7 to 8 watts per kilogram downhill. And you can try and get it. I mean, I've gotten a solid out of outside the 50 meters on this section. Going like this though, the ZWC rider, unless he's just got watts for days, essentially you're attacking into a tier 2 tier that they're just going to eat you up on in just in a moment here. And I think I lost your microphone.
Sorry, there we go, Nathan. Sorry, I was saying if you talk about attacking, I don't know if people realize how serious your watts are, though. So if you want to check out Nathan's Instagram of some of his mountain bike races, it was shocking for me just to watch those numbers coming through on a screen. So for you, you know, that strategy might work. You've got the numbers to do it. For everyone else, they're probably just suffering to just stay in the bunch. So
well, that's what AutoCat's about, right? Everybody's kind of there's parity now. So I mean, depending, I don't know. We'll have to see if anybody ends up taking it. If you're a punchy rider, I'll say that. If you're a punchy rider amongst your crew here, amongst the pack, it might be something you want to try and make happen. I'm just not one who likes to sit around and wait for the sprint. I like to kind of take it and whittle it down. So Bannister to the front now.
Yeah.
It looks like Japan, a little bit of a move. This looks like it's putting some pressure on. It definitely strings out each time we hit this section. The second tier, though, is usually where things really work because people get a little bit over that pressure point. And then if they continue on over here, a lot of times it could cause some damage. Pretty flat through here, though, if you are sitting on. So we'll see if anything is able to break apart, as we do have Nico going to the back after the attack, maybe regretting it a little bit. 169 beats per minute as we head back to the front. Power up being used. Interesting enough, it's an arrow power up. Maybe just rolling the dice because
they're just picking up another spanner, I guess. So
interesting.
Just ditching that one. Yeah, I think do you know who I'm looking at, who I've seen kind of floating around top third of the pack is Mashed Potato. So this is a rider who I see out quite a lot, rides for Evo. I feel like this is the kind of course that would suit Mashed Potato. Looking at very, very high sprint numbers, 17.2 watts per kg, but also a really high 20-minute power. So I think this rider is someone who could look at that breakaway strategy you're talking about, Nathan, after the sprint on that dirt downhill, but maybe just wants to save that for the last few laps.
You're going to jump in real quickly here. Mashed Potato, one to be watching out for sure, always in these races. I wanted to just head on over here and make sure to grab. This is going to be C4. We'll try and grab their sprints and maybe some of their moves as they go throughout. The coverage across on such a short course with a lot of moves may be a little difficult, but we'll see what we can make happen. Bijou off the front here. It is going to be Groove Salad amongst the women trying to make things happen. She's got a burrito power up.
Nice.
That's only gonna frustrate people around her, but most likely not give her any advantage in the sprint. But she'll be the first woman across the line for sure. Bijou now just walking away
Oh,
with this one like it's nothing. Army Cycling taking second, followed up by Keffer, and then Groove Salad actually in fourth place amongst the boys.
doing well. She's doing really well. It's I've seen a few interesting names in this group as well. Again, and quite a few NZ Bro athletes that have just been picked up. That haven't been there from last week. So their recruiting is just going absolutely gangbusters. But yeah, good here to see Kevin Barker as well, races for ATP. Good setup on that bike as well. Very, very slick and fast. And Snowden as well. So this is a good little group, I think. It's 22 riders who started off. Looks like it's been whittled down to about 18 to start off with through that sprint. Could be interesting. And three women in the Bs. You can just see Zoe, Elderman, and Lavington a bit further back. But great job, that woman who's managed to come up.
Oh,
Salad.
Sharma's
That's
here too
phenomenal
from
effort.
NZ Bro. So there are
Oh,
two
and
women
Sharma.
amongst. Yeah.
Really good work there.
We do have some comments coming through. How do people type? It's a good question sometimes. How many of them men do it? How do people type from Arvid Anvik during their races? And Anna's letting everybody know it is a psych out strategy. Easy, no problem. I've seen people like in full on, I mean, complete suffer mode, still typing at 190 beats per minute. You just gotta have the right setup though. You put the keyboard at the handlebar spot and you get a lot done actually. You don't really have to steer the bike, so it's not impossible,
So
that's for sure.
I very stupidly in some commentary said that I hate when people type in racing because it psychs me out. And then the next race I did, chat, chat, chat the whole way through from the two teams. And I was like, why did I even say that? It was so annoying. But yeah, it's a lot of the time when you're sitting there and you're kind of breathing through your eyeballs and someone's messaging about what their playlist is or a joke, you're like, oh God, I feel terrible. So yeah, it's a good strategy. It definitely caught me off guard.
It's the same thing as when you're on the front end taking a poll side by side with some riders and you feel like you're working pretty hard. Like I'll be hammering. And like even when I'm next to riders who, like maybe that the level isn't quite the same and they'll start talking and you're like, "Really, dude?" Like like you're talking right now and they kind of talk about something that doesn't even like make sense to talk about, but that they're doing it just to check where you're at. Like
Yeah,
they're just seeing what's
exactly.
happening with whether or not you're able to talk. Oh, here we go. Burrito power ups. Nice time to actually pop these. They're not going to help in the sprint, but they could reduce the competition's ability to draft through this section. 5-6 now toward the front. Now, how quickly are they going to get into that 57K? Where's the rest? Not a whole lot. Trying to just break away, it looks like, as he's not even getting the super tuck. I'm actually really surprised at the lack of super tucks over the top here. Here come their power ups and the drafting power ups. Will we see it again from Cridland as well as Endo? Daz Carter trying to come on through. Oh, Flynn, Neil, gonna hold on. Not gonna happen. I think it's gonna be Carter. 13 watts per kilogram coming from Carter as he easily takes it. Alex Neil actually held on for third. It looks like nice. He gave a lead out and it's an interesting sprint the way it works out. You can carry a lot of speed on through. Separation here, Anna, though. And this might be a moment.
Yeah, Des Carter. I'm always impressed with his riding. Every week he is in this front group, making things happen, putting in attacks. Has some really good sprint numbers, but also seems to just know how to race. So yeah, always impressed with Des Carter. I'm just as I talked before about mashed potato, he's just kind of dropping a little bit off the back of this group. So has to be careful to get back on. He'll be on the bright. There he is, the bright pink Tron with the Evo kit. I'm also keeping an eye out. I don't know if you've seen it. I think one just came past the camera. Is the new ZRL custom helmet for those who took out their category and their region in the last ZRL season 3. So those have been just released into some people's garages, and I've seen a few in game. I think I may have just seen one go by. So love that idea. It's kind of like Greg Van Avermaet wearing the gold helmet for winning the Olympic gold back in Rio. I think it's just a great way to sort of separate out those who have won a division. I think it looks really cool.
Absolutely love what is going on there with Zwift and putting that together. Little in-game um, emblems like that, little in-game tokens, definitely a huge part of the gaming world, and definitely something that I enjoy. I personally really enjoy to see happening with the game now. And is that going to be it right there with the ZWC rider? Perhaps the one that's a little closer to us. I'll have to wait and see if I can get that rider on screen and take a good look at the helmet there. But very cool. Anybody who did win their category, I think there was like 100 and somewhere around like 150 to 160 helmets released in the game. So it's a pretty, I mean, out of all of the riders that are in Zwift, that's a pretty, there's a lot of users on Zwift, right? That's a pretty
Yeah,
limited
that's
edition,
cool.
token to have out there.
And you have to earn it. That's what I like. It's not just a sort of level unlock, which you have to earn to get to your levels. But this is you've got to be the best of the best. So I think it's really cool. Also, I'm seeing out here, Nathan. What's your opinion? I've been doing this off the map tour, and you unlock a backwards cap, which is also new to Zwift. I have not made up my mind about whether it's a fashion faux pas or a good fashion decision. So there it is.
As
It
good
doesn't
as it
match anything
gets.
in my garage, so I'm
It's
not
as good as it
sure.
gets. Come on. That's amazing. Backwards cap all day long. Here we go. I need to actually go get that. I don't have that. I haven't done one of
Yeah,
off the
I went
maps
and
yet.
got it, but I just haven't. I don't know. I haven't
Not
replaced
even
the
wearing it.
orange
Just like whatever. I'm not even
bandana
gonna wear
yet.
this thing.
And that's it. That's the
Is that it?
Swift
That
Race
is it.
League
Look
winning
at
helmet. That
that.
is it. Yes, I did spot it. That looks awesome. Really cool. I like
36
that
got
one.
zero right on it. I mean, this is that's about as cool as it gets. The Kendo from
Oh, that's rad.
Endo here from the ZWC Allies out of Japan showing off. He's actually look at the fashion police. I mean, look at this. This is all look at the ZRL helmet. He's got matching bike Tron wheels going on, matching kit. I mean, gloves.
That's a
What can you even
new.
say? What can you? I guess the
That's
map.
a new ZWC kit. It's got to be. I haven't seen that one. Usually
The
they're in
shoes. I'm
the.
not sure about the shoes though, Anna. The shoes.
No, the
Mavic
shoes aren't
yellow.
good. The
And he's so
gloves look good
close.
with that though. It's
So
very
close.
close. So good. Two-tone Tron. For all my misgivings about the Tron, I do like the two-tone Tron.
A little bit of a kick from Randall here. Maybe putting one or two off the back. But everyone's going to stick together, it looks like, and not go much of anywhere. Four to go here in the C1s for our. We're talking Zwift Racing League so much. I almost said our ZRL season 4. ZRL season 4. The schedule is released, though. Schedule is released. Make sure to head on over to WTRL's Facebook group. Check that out for the Zwift Racing League. We got a Facebook group for that as well. Announcements have been made. Head to the website. Start planning. Get your team together. Better get your recruitments done. We've only got a month and a half, not even here, before it's go time. So pretty excited for Zero Season 4. But we're into the classics here. 2 races after this one to go. Watopia Cut, Seaside Sprint. Jump back on over to the C4s as Julian Biger took down that one like it was a piece of cake. We'll see if he's able to go off the front again. Another backwards cap. It looks like off the front's going to be Hopper, actually, with a little bit of an aero power up and some distance. It looks like he's outside of 8 meters. They got to chase him down, and not sure they're too interested. But through the SEs, very difficult to get away with without a lot more power than this.
I actually saw when we rode through the Essays, we ran a race last year during lockdown with some of our elite triathletes, and our bronze medalist triathlete put in a huge attack through the Essays, and it was phenomenal to see. I mean, you've got to commit 100% if you want to get away here, because at the start it's not too bad. You kind of go up and down the rollers, and then you hit the sort of fifth roller, and your legs just have nothing left, and that's when the pack momentum catches up. But yeah, wow, this rider Hayden Wild went away and showed some stellar watts. So maybe that's what this rider was trying to do, Hopper, but didn't quite make it. Maybe just a little hero move, wanted some camera time. I think we talked a little bit about Hopper last week, did pretty well on the course. So it is a name I recognize, and people should take those little attacks seriously. But yeah, it's a tricky one to get away here.
This is what Julian did last lap. A little bit of a kick over the top, 4.8, 524 watts. He's up into that 45 kilometers per hour and an aero power up here. Big risks. He does not want to punch the line. He just wants to get away right on into 62 kilometers per hour. I think he's got this. I think he's just going to walk away
I
with
think
this.
so. Julian Bayas, Team X. Yeah, not huge sprint watts, definitely not the highest in the group. But obviously, using this tactic, I think it's great. Look, he's going to get it. He'll get first across the line points, easy as for that lap.
Did the same thing. And now Salad, Groove, right on through. These riders are not super interested, or they are in the hurt locker. And I think it's more of the hurt locker. I mean, things is
Yeah.
completely separated at this point. And Faye here out of Switzerland falling off. Snowden, Sharma from NZ Bro trying to get back on terms. She may be able to do that, but the race is going up the road. 4 seconds, and Salad, Group Salad's not going to want this happen, as this is the only other woman in and amongst the front pack. The other three are all together and 2:10 back at this point. So she's going to have to get a little bit of help here, it looks like, from the rest of the crowd.
I mean, this is the part of a course I hate the most, is where you've just done a sprint and you're not kind of at the front where you can back off and just let everyone catch up. You're sort of in the middle and you've burnt a lot of matches, and then suddenly the pack comes past you and you've got to kind of pick it up again. I just find that so, so hard. And I mean, you're looking at that Sharma here, 184 beats a minute.
She's going
Really
to
good
do it, it
cadence
looks
there.
like. Oh, it's the
She'll get
moment.
on,
This
but
is it. This is
oh,
the moment of truth. These boys are kind of in the way at this point,
yeah.
and they're going. They're going away. They're not pulling her to the. Oh no! It looks like that 1 second might just be too much, perhaps, as Sharma tries to get back on terms. We'll come right back to that chase. She might be able to do it still as things level out, but we're back in with the C1s. They come over the top four. Their fourth sprint, I believe it is, out here today. And right to the, that was a little bit of a mistake. They're coming from Kate Bratz now, as the WMZ rider now has to go backwards at the worst time to do so. Throws
Oh
down the
no.
arrow power up. And Flynn, a little bit of a, he might hold on to this actually. 683. Is it enough? He kicked a little bit late. Didn't take the momentum through. Endo now 13
Oh,
watts per
whoa, who's this
kilogram.
coming? Endo again. Wow. That was our
One, two,
first lap
three.
winner. So that's phenomenal. And that's, I thought that was mashed potato in third, but it looks like he was in sixth place. But whew, that Endo rider got some serious watts.
Yeah, Endo with the watts per kilogram has been absolutely killing it. They do have some separation. They could continue on with it, but I think they're going to slow right on down. The splits are starting a little bit using the burrito power up. Most likely just going to be looking for a wheel here. Nobody really all that interested, it looks like, on the counter. And everyone's going to come back together. It is a 41-kilometer race out here. They are halfway through their race. Total of 6 laps. No, actually, it looks like there is a rider giving a little bit of a go, and it will be the man from Evo, Mashed Potato. But I think he tried taking my advice and was like, that just hurts too much. I think it was like,
Yeah.
Nathan, no, that doesn't work the way I thought you said.
Yeah, tip, it'll hurt a lot to try and attack. Seeing an Aero rider coming across the top here, D. Randall. So Aero's a great team as well, led by Tully Leister, who you usually see in the sort of C0 or the ACAT. And they stand for Australian Esport Racing Organisation. So similar to the NZ Bro, they're sort of a national organisation coming up with getting some of the riders. I know they focus a lot on the youth category, getting them introduced to esports. So pretty cool to see them in this cat as well. I think it's just the lonely one there, but yeah, good to see them. They were racing in Premier League in ZRL last season as well. And yeah, really good team. I like what Aero's doing in the esports space.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome to see initially recruiting out of Pro Continental, out of Australia. I'm not sure if they're still sticking to only that. I think they've expanded perhaps a little bit, but very cool what Arrow's been up to in representing Australia there for the esports side of things. Now, there is going to be 2.5 to go, 2.5 to go for the C4s. They are doing 2 less laps. So it is a little bit shorter event out there at 28 kilometers for the C4s. So make sure to catch that finish line as they come to it, but they still got 2 to go, 2 to go. Here with these riders, we're going to be in for 4 more to go. I believe, well, 3, is it 3.5 now at this point? We'll see in just a moment as they come through the 2 tier. And still solid amount of riders here. It hasn't really split up as much as I thought it might. And we've got 36, it looks like, as the rider here from TV in the Amgen Tour California kit. Actually coming out of Australia, though, as Vikings team, but from the lands down under. 185 beats per minute, actually. So I think kind of struggling at this point. 186, unless they beat like a butterfly over 200s. A lot of times that's over threshold for a lot of riders here, as we do see again at the front. Is that going to be the BL13 rider, Daz Carter, on the attack again?
Yeah, and people dropping off the back. I was just thinking that watching that part, I know Nathan, you talked about sort of attacking through the SCs or after the sprint, but that little kick there, it goes up to 7%. That could be a good place to really put the hurt on, which is I think what we're seeing with Daz Carter off the front, with Randall there from Aero, who we're just talking about sort of coming up as well. I thought 2 riders might have, yes, they have. There's 2 riders who've just been dropped off the back on that uphill segment. So may not split a bunch this big, and I'm surprised the bunch is still sitting around 36 riders, because it has been a lot of hard work. That is not a good place to be for Weatherall there, trying to catch back on. That's burning a lot, heart rate up to the 190s. Geez, I hope that's a young rider. And yeah, this is, like I said, I haven't seen racing on this course before, and it's quite hard. I'm just wondering how you would split that bunch now heading into these last laps.
Well, it's a great point that you make. The first kick on the 2 tier, a lot of times not the one that really puts people into too much trouble. But if you do get an initial, a lot of times the first 1 or 2 riders to go from bottom to top on the first section of that tier, they'll get the speed going, they'll get a little separation, and there'll be this bunch that kind of comes together over the top. And then if you kick again and continuance through there and then take a lot of speed through that second tier, if there's any separation, the riders behind, they were thinking they were going to get a free ride on through. No, you got to really step those speeds up. And you come over the top with some that downhill through this section, a lot of times you can get away a little bit here. This is the section, though, that's really frustrating for anybody who's on a break, because there is some downhills here. You do see this negative 2%, 3%. The pack does tend to coalesce together again, snowball a little bit. And they do tend to bring you back through this next section from the volcano back over to Watopia proper. But if you hold on to that point and you start kicking through the Essies, that's so difficult, though, when you're off the front. As you were saying, you get that roller coaster effect of the pack. A lot of times the Essies can be the death knell of any breakaway.
Yeah, it looks like these guys have got less than 20 minutes to go now, so they are hitting the tail end of this race. And I've got to say, watching this, it's been a lot more brutal than I thought. I kind of anticipated, a break down to maybe 15 to 20 riders, but this pack is moving extremely fast. You can see that because the riders who have dropped, they go from 1 second to 20 seconds, just like that. And I think it's just because this group the momentum is so high. The burritos aren't having as much of an effect as I thought because the group is pretty big. So even if there's a burrito drop just in front of you, I mean, you've got riders all around you that you can kind of drop back, get out of that radius of effect and keep the draft going. So yeah, not as much of a decisive power up as I thought. It'd be interesting to see a steamroller on this course, just with the cobbles straight after the sprint and that dirt downhill. As we see
Steamroller
here.
on that downhill would be
Yeah.
insane, actually. That would be
Yeah.
out of control. Brackfell, though, this is a serious attack. He went orange numbers. They tried responding a little bit. This downhill is so sharp right here. I've tried this through this section. If he gets enough riders with him, though, and they start avalanching, roller coastering a little bit with a few riders, it could be dangerous. He is continuing on at 6.8 with an arrow. He's all in. He's not messing around here at this point. To use an arrow like this, it says, I am serious.
And look at those two riders chasing. You got Husk there from ZWC and Daz Carter. They hit the orange numbers just to break across. This is a serious move. I'm liking this because a lot of people say breakaways aren't possible in Zwift. And I think sometimes they are if you time them right, and you really push into those orange numbers to break away from the pack. If you just kind of put in a stable effort, you're not going to be able to break away. And we're looking here at Nozaki from AHDR, 3 seconds behind already. Not sure what Husk is saying. Modo Ramasu, assuming that's Japanese, but yeah, 3 to 4 seconds on the pack now, and the pack is strung out.
Nozaki really trying to pull it back together here and really working for the rest of the pack now at this point. Brackfall and the rest, they cannot sit up now at this point. They have to continue on up in the 5 watts per kilogram. Now they do need some orange numbers over the top here or they are going to get shut down real quickly. The speeds over the top of this next time though on this little kicker, 7-8% kicker are going to be so incredibly high because the pressure is on. There it is. Orange numbers popping here now and now they are going though. ZWC going across. 39 kilometers per hour. I want to see something more of the 41 to 42 if they want to stay away, though, as it does look like Trek Traka there trying to come across with Randall. 2 seconds still here. The pack, they are maybe not going to make this happen. The sprint might shut it down. And if it does, these riders are going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Oh,
But
super tuck.
there it
Good
is.
job.
Carter now, he could actually come over the top. 8 watts, 10 watts per kilogram for Carter. This is a great move from him, actually. Oh, that super tuck was amazingly
That was so
timed.
good. Yeah, super tuck, built up the speed, rolled straight past the other two, and managed to carry that onto the sprint. Looking at those orange numbers coming from behind from Mashed Potato, they'll catch back up. They're only 2 seconds behind this group. But if you look at that little map in the right-hand corner, that has detonated the pack, and that's down to about 3 separate groups on the road. I was wondering before how this was going to start splitting up, and I'm loving the fact that it might actually come down to a breakaway. So I think a few of the riders in the pack saw that that breakaway could potentially get away. We might see that in the next couple of laps.
This is it right here, I think. If somebody really wants to go, this is going to be the moment. I believe it's 2 laps to go at this point. And a lot of riders are going to be in the struggle bus at this point. And there it is. Randall, along with the ZWC rider, later in the race, the legs can be softened up. Now, Cridlin looking to go across as well into the dirt section. Will they go into sprint mode on the downhill? They need to keep the speeds as high as possible now. Randall, 5.4. Mashed Potato looking to go across here. And now the separation is really happening without a lot of riders in that chase pack with a lot of wattage left to give. The downhill avalanche not going to be quite as much as it usually is. Continuance needs to be there though to make this happen. More separation happening behind now. Landman, he's got a gap as well. 5 meters, 17, 20 meters at this point. As Moore's only sitting at 3.5. These 4 could go, Anna.
This is amazing. It's like what you said before. Maybe they're listening to what you're saying, Nathan, is like, just put in a bit of pain, put in a bit of effort on that downhill. That pack is just there. They're just inside. And these guys need to start working together or just kind of put in a little bit more of a push on this flat road section leading to the volcano to keep this away. You've got that Randall rider from Aero. He's very, very strong. A burrito being dropped, which is not awesome timing because you kind of want the group to be almost on you when you drop that. But 1 second back, they're going to get caught.
Just barely making it happen now. But I think there was a lot of matches burned just in being that back actually here. Some of the riders though that sat in and trusted that were sitting toward the back and didn't put too much effort in. What I'm wondering is there a sneaky rider who's just been watching this entire time, waiting for the moment to pounce here with a lap and a half to go? The next lap, you could see a flyer with 1 to go. That could be the way to go here. So if there's anyone in the pack that's kept their wattage low, really just been sitting in, following moves, we could see something like that happen. But I think a lot of the riders that have been getting back on terms, they've just been suffering through the SEs and watching the ride away from them, just barely hanging on. As you see Alex from Casey here saying, ouch.
I'll tell you who's going to win this race, and that's Mashed Potato. Been watching him riding. He's just been sitting in, not really expending too much energy. Hasn't really been going for many intermediaries either. He's going for the all-out win. I'll call it now. He's going to take this ride out. 26 riders now in that front pack. So those moves in this last lap have whittled the pack from about 36 to 26 riders. So along the way, 10 have dropped off. Just the pace got too high, too heavy. And here we go. I imagine this will be the pack we'll be taking to the finish line. They don't have too long to go, just over 10 minutes.
Betting against BL13, Daz Carter in a sprint. Now, Mashed potato gives it a. I don't know. Mashed potato versus BL13 Daz Carter. That's going to be a tough one. Endo, the way he's been going as well, but we'll have to
True.
see who's got the pure power out here today. I've seen Daz Carter time things so incredibly well over and over again, but has he put too much out there? To get that last sprint point, he was off the front with the group. Might have burned a couple of too many matches. We'll have to wait and see here, but it's a good call. It's a good call. But Daz Carter, I'm gonna throw it out there and say BL13 taking it down in the Bicycling Magazine kit.
Okay, nice. We'll do a virtual coffee on that one, Nathan. Coffee bet
Virtual
on
coffee.
Des
Absolutely.
Carter, Des Carter v mashed potato. We'll see how this rolls through at the end. It's kind of now where I think it's might tone down a little bit. I think they put in the attacks. They kind of got it to a group that they're more happy with. Maybe dropped a few of the riders off that they wanted to, and yeah, not long to go now. I mean, it's estimated here on Zwift Power they'll be finished about 53 minutes. So we're looking at just over 10 minutes. Question here from Mitchell Stewart. Which cat is this? Well, if we're looking at this new AutoCat system, this is C1, and I think it goes down to 6. So, 5. So it's goes C0 to C5. This is C1.
We actually have C0 through C6, I believe, right? Yeah, there's a C6 out there with 3 laps for C6, 3 laps for C6. So there's actually 7 total categories, which
Wow.
is a lot. Pretty cool to see that they are giving so many people the opportunity to race out there at their ability level. Um, but yeah, and one other thing, we World of Zwift actually recently we were talking a little bit about Team Riot. You were mentioning when you're out there hammering away with them. World of Zwift and talk about sprints and what it's like in sprints. Christina Grossman recently on World of Zwift. Did you check that out today?
Ah, amazing. So good. After you told me to go watch World of Zwift last week, I watched it again this week and it was awesome to see teammate Christina
Yeah,
getting
pretty
interviewed
awesome.
in her house. Cool insight into the kind of the faces behind the avatars. I love it. It's you kind of forget sometimes that these are real people who are out there racing in their houses and yeah, what World of Zwift's doing, which is bringing a light to the people behind these riders, was awesome. I thought it was a fantastic interview.
Absolutely great. It was really cool to see also that she rides on the streets of New York, that she's actually racing on both in game and racing on in real life. And we've actually replicated some of those. So if you haven't checked out that World of Zwift yet, make sure to go check that out. Really, really cool to see the people behind the avatars actually and the stories that are happening out there. One of the Team Riot teammates, actually, that's your big sprinter. Amazing what
I
Christina's
know.
been able to
I mean,
pull off.
she's pretty badass. she's I won't be shy to say she's kind of the cool one of the group. Vice president at a record company, lots of cool tats, lives in New York. So definitely the pretty cool one of the group, I would say.
We've got a little bit more coffee bets going on here. Virtual coffee coming on in from Dan Tryhouse has caught me in. Got to cheer for the B rider. He's got me E Gray. So we're gonna be looking for E
Mm.
Gray as the call out here coming from Dan Tryhard. Moore is actually begging. Is he begging for mercy? Is that asking for
Mercy.
mercy? Is that like, please stop torturing me? Is that what's going on there?
There's a lot of chat that's been going on since we've been talking. I think people are wanting a nice lead out. People are wanting a cruising next lap. So there's a lot of people chatting. And it's what I think. I mean, you look at the heart rate here of Paul. It's 169. It's high, but it's not as high as we've been seeing it. As we see a little attack, or is that a lapped rider? Just off the front that's been caught up. Couldn't quite tell there. Maybe a little dig
No, they all have
accidentally.
the same case. They all have the same case. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they all have the same case. Nobody being caught just of yet. Now we do have a little bit of a interesting situation happening between both of the races right now. We're into the final actually here for the C4. So we'll
Oh,
go back and forth here a little bit. Keffer just made a serious attack going into the final couple of K here at this point. And he's about 2 minutes from the finish line. Off the front at 5.3. Are they even gonna I think they're gonna let this rider go. I don't think they're going to see
yeah.
Keffer again at this point. Well, there it goes. Heyman's not trying to come across. I thought they were going to keep it calm, but no. The Canadian trying to hold off, but now Faye with Heyman, and there's an arrow power up. He's just going to drag the group up with him, though. That's always the question. Do you go? Because you might just get used at this point. And he's got 11 meters, though, in this pack. Really interesting to see
Oh,
how they're unable to chase things down.
I think Kefir could. I think he might get caught. When you want to catch up with, so what? Is doing here is not quite, or Faye here is not quite what you want to do. You want to put in huge orange numbers and jump the gap. You don't want to drag everyone up, like you're saying. But into this sprint here, I wonder how hard people are going to be going here. Looks like Brackwell's doing pretty well. Endo again, massive numbers, took it out again. So I'm not sure. Someone's dropped a chain. Endo has taken a lot of these out, so I'm not sure if he's burnt too many matches for the finish line or if he
We'll
just
see if
really
there's a
wants to get all the
counter.
points possible.
They're at one to go as well. They're at one to go. So there may be a counter attack. We'll have to get back to that in just a second. Definitely want to check this C4 finish, though, as they come into the downhill. This is going to be it for the win here at this point. He was caught. The group is able to come back. Beiser's now off the back. He took so many of them, and not going to happen, though, for him. McCormick here. NZ Bro. Are NZ Bro going to make it happen?
Whoa.
Heyman, though, coming across.
Oh,
It's New Zealand versus New
Heyman's got
Zealand. Heyman totally took it down.
Heyman's got it.
Oh, what a kick there from
Wow.
Heyman. Cross the line. Solid effort. Beiser takes down, it looks like, off the podium for fourth. So great job. NZ Bro ended
You
up
can
in second.
tell. I think you can tell when Heyman got into that eating the handlebars position, and just as soon as someone gets into that, they are absolutely gunning it, and they always seem to pass anyone who's in front of them. So yeah, when I saw Heyman get into that position, yeah, he took it out. But good showing there by the Kiwis, and NZ Bro rolling in with second place with David McCormick.
Now we are into the final lap here. Doesn't look like anybody was able to throw a flyer off the front through that last section. It was interesting. I thought they would, because the way they came through that sprint was so timid. So I think a lot of the riders here are reserving a ton for this final kick across the line here. Was that the NZ Bro rider just kind of rolling right on through to the front here? Or, I mean, that rider in black, no, it's going to be Trek Trakya. And that is a rider coming out of that flag, always gets me. Let's see if I can find, that can be Thailand, I believe, or Singapore. One of the two.
I've been working on my flags, so I could potentially help you out here, Nathan.
Oh, Turkey. I'm way off. way. I should have known that. I actually should have known that looking at
Wow.
it. I really should have. That one's actually pretty
Okay.
obvious. Like,
Yeah.
anyways.
Okay. Yeah, the Turkish flag, just for those watching at home, looks nothing like the New Zealand flag. But there we go.
I didn't say New Zealand. I didn't say New Zealand. I said
Okay.
I said Singapore or Thailand. I did not.
Oh, okay. Oh no. So Nathan, you're sitting in this pack now. There's 26 riders. You're rolling through pretty close to the finish now, about 5 minutes to go. What do you do? What do you do to try and win this?
I would follow the wheels over the top and the top 3 to 4 here on this first tier, and I would actually attack over the top of this. I would get a gap and try to, and from there on out, I would continue to do that every time. So always lead, never follow. It's kind of like a mountain bike thing, and it works really well for me, at least in Zwift. Going into, especially if I want to soften up legs of sprinters that I know are stronger than me, I want them to be at limit or really, really hurting coming into those final K. And I do have a good kick still after a little bit of recovery. So personally, right here, if I were in that third or fourth wheel and I followed their attack over, I would come over the top, try and have a little continuance. But every time they come back, I go right back into a third or fourth or fifth wheel, rest up just enough to go again and go again and go again until it either whittled down and we have a break and we continue to go, or until we hit a section in the Essies where I know it's just going to avalanche and the speed's not going to really hold on to anything. If they keep coming back and there's too many with me at that point, halfway through the Essies or so, I'd kind of say, okay, now it's time to sit in, wait for the right moment, and find the right wheel and kick at the right time for the sprint. But that would be that's the way that I'd be looking at this, is just trying to make something happen. It looks like, though, most of these riders here more interested in just waiting for that final kick across the line.
Yeah, it looks like we've got some supporters of John O'Cridland, who we have seen take a few little flies off the front, kind of testing the waters a little bit. So I'd be looking at Cridland for an early kind of attack through the S's to try and get away. He doesn't have the sprint legs that the others around him does, but he obviously has the power to get away. I think the group will kind of be aware of that. But yeah, I mean, Dwayne Hespierre over on Facebook says John O'Cridland for the win. So let's see what he's got. I think everyone's going to stick together up until that SS portion. And then, like we just saw in the C4 category, I think we're going to have some people going off the front. And I don't know if Jono Credlin is listening to the feed. He's just
Oh, he
saying,
is.
no, he's
Oh,
not
he
going to
is.
go early.
Oh, he is.
So
He's
here we
definitely
go.
listening to the feed. He's so now the interesting thing here, 942, 1083, and 1253 coming from
Hmm.
mashed potato. That's the pure wattage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and 17.2 though is the highest. And you're right. Potatoes are getting mashed out here as far as the highest watts per kilogram,
Hmm.
but who's going to set it up right? Carter does have 15.7, and we have seen timing really matter. But talking a little bit too much here, as we do have a rider going off the front, and that is going to be ZWC. And this is full on tactical from ZWC because they've got other riders. They want Endo to get set up well. They want people to have to chase this down so that Endo doesn't have to do any work. That's what's going on here. And ZWC are using amazing tactics right now as a team.
Yeah, we just saw them actually lap a rider. So that just shows how incredibly fast this pack has been moving. Got a little bit of a gap here, and I think this is a good strategy from the pack. They're just sort of letting these guys hang off the front, use a bit of energy. Nozaki is my pick. Let's have a look at some of the stats of Nozaki. So, Japanese rider from AHDR looks like, oh, that just flicked off his name there, but 752 watts. Oh, it's almost half as much as the likes of mashed potato. So, unless there's a early sort of breakaway, I'm not sure Nozaki's the best pick for the win.
We got a lot of cheering going on here. Oh, Flynn. Oh, this was a move. That was what was going on there. That is exactly what was going on here. They burned that match with ZWC. He just completely sacrificed himself for the reality of
Mm.
making a chase try to happen here. It was well timed actually. Nozaki here at the back, it looks like, from AHDR, sitting in. And we'll see if perhaps Gray's there still as well. We've got a lot of the picks still being able to make this front pack that we've seen coming in from chat. Let us know who you think is going to win. We've got Flynn, Carter as well. Norzaki, we heard E. Gray now. We heard Larry Neal as well as on for the dice roll. Chat is throwing down, that's for sure. The bets are in. The bets are in. We've got the river card to come still at this point, though. Endo now, he's had some solid kicks. He just had his teammate try and make a move off the front, but without any more teammates really making moves like that, I'm not sure it put any hurt in the legs, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed, firstly, that a virtual coffee just lights things up and everyone wants to place a bet on what will essentially be nothing. But great to see everyone jumping in. Jeff Morton, the silent assassin. Love a silent assassin. Not sure what that means in a Zwift game. Will they go off a bit early? There's no ghost power ups, but
This is
let's
in
see what they've
Assassin's
got at the
Creed,
end.
but let's see if we can add that
Yeah.
on in. Here we go. This is going to be at the final kick over the top here of this little bump, leaving the Essies. 5% gradient now as the riders make their way forward. It's going to be Randall almost leading things out, but now it's going to be Wiggly Zastro there at the front, having to back on off the 4.1. Not exactly where you want to be. He's going to have to punch again to bring some speed now. Diamond's now to the front. Landman 6.2, 6.3. And Randall starting to open up a little bit. You're really just going to be a lead out man, though, if you're on the front at this point. You got to follow wheels
Oh,
really well. Randall
oh,
goes
that's it.
super
That's an attack.
arrow power up.
Wow,
Flynn,
huge
will he
attack.
hold on? Not sure.
Oh,
Here comes
way too
mashed
early.
potato. Evo
Oh,
with the timing. Where's Carter? No, it's going to be potato. And the Thanksgiving
Look at
dinner. He
him.
takes the turkey like it's nothing. It's Carter for second. The
Oh.
timing was off. The mashed potatoes. He even got the gravy. Holy cow. That was amazing.
Sorry, everyone watching. I'm going to make my own coffee virtually, but actually in real life because mashed potato was my pick, and that was phenomenal. I knew he had it. That just looked so. I've seen him do it so many times before.
He
He
made it
gets
look
his face
easy
right down on the
too.
bars.
I mean, he didn't
Oh,
even
he's
like.
got the timing. He's got the
He,
timing. He knows
that's
it.
the weird. I mean, amazing job sitting in a lot too. You said he was playing the sprinters game. You were 100% right there, Anna. He just reserved a whole lot there. We saw the 17. Let's go ahead and see how it looked actually in the replay here. Really amazing job there by mashed potatoes. You do see Randall trying to be the lead out man. Didn't end up working out too well there for Randall. As Flynn coming on through with an arrow power up as well. Sits on down though. The avatar doesn't even stand up at the right time. Potato there right as they hit
Oh,
off of the downhill gradient,
look at
1200
that.
watts,
Oh,
and
phenomenal
huge gap
position.
here at this point.
And look at
I
that though.
mean,
Daz Carter came in for second. Huge push right near the end there. Then for second with Patty O'Flynn in third. So
yeah,
Daz,
solid
look at
job.
that. Oh, wow. That's
Did
great.
Randall hold on? No, Flynn actually took third. You were
Yeah.
right. So there was actually quite a few predictions there. Where's Gray? Where's the silent assassin? What's going on here, chat? Emil,
He's too silent.
Nozaki, yeah, needs to speak up. Come on now. Oh, good stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if we do have a few results. I believe it is going to be. Give us 1 second here, everybody. We'll bring the results in just a second as we get done with our replay. But that is New Zealand C1. We'll see if we can bring in also the C4 that we did see come across the line. For some reason, it's over on Richmond for our results. We got to go over to Richmond for the results. That's why it's taking so long to bring them on in. Anna, go ahead and take us through.
Oh, look at that. Mashed potato for the win. I picked these pretty well. I've got to say that, Nathan. Des Carter in second. That was your pick, Nathan. Just a little bit behind. Looks
I
like
need a
Fred
better
Mumford was
whiteboard.
second.
I'm on chalk. It's because I
Yeah,
got a
you
chalk.
do.
I'm
You do.
still on the green chalkboard, and I got nails scratching. I've got to dust off my erasers still. You've got the whiteboard. It's just superior.
Exactly. I'm in the future here. We've got Paddy O'Flynn. He was one of the picks from the audience watching in third. Randall there in fourth. Brackville, who had a great race. A few early attacks in fifth. Cridlin, I'd give that most aggressive rider of the night award to Cridlin. He had some great attacks and ended up sixth, which is pretty decent. Team there in seventh. Endo still had some legs left for eighth place. Huge attacks for each of the laps. E. Gray there in ninth and Nozaki in 10th.
Wow, handing out. We didn't. There was no. We're just gonna hand out aggressive riders. Is there a yellow jersey too? Do you got a sprint jersey you can give away? I'm just wondering if there's best young rider. I mean, keep naming them, Nana. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. We also got the results here coming on in from the C4s that we watched. It is going to be Heyman across the line for first place. D. Heyman for 2.8 watts per kilogram. Sat in pretty well at 43.31. McCormick there for second. Hey, coming out of Switzerland for third. The Canadian Keffer, late night, I think, if he is in Canada there for fourth. Julian Badger coming out of the Netherlands, coming in for fifth place. Ashton for sixth. Taylor in seventh. Davey for eighth. Kay Barker coming in for ninth. And it's going to be Jake Constable. That is your top 10. There were some ladies hanging out in this category. So Groove Salad does take down first place. Sharma ended up getting dropped off. Actually, I watched it off on another screen and did not quite get back on turns. Was able to hold back on for that. So hold on for a second. Alderman for third. Lavington and Stolten. Looks like it was a solid sprint between all three of them, actually, right to the line. Congratulations to the ladies there in the C4. If you do want to check out all of the rest of the results from the Watopia Cup, head on over to WTRL.racing. You'll be able to check out all of those results as well. Sign up for all of the races that are the premier racing out on Zwift, WTRL, TTT, obviously, as well as the rest of the Seaside Sprint. This is the Rebel Route. A lot of people don't really know about this course that are newer to the world of Zwift. Anna, you've never raced this before. I mean, this is kind of an opportunity here as a part of the Zwift Classics to do something pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I've actually never even heard of Rebel Routes before, so I thought I was a well-versed
Wait a second,
Swifter.
did I just upgrade? Did I just upgrade?
You schooled me.
I just upgraded. So wait a second. Not level 45, doesn't know what Rebel Routes are. I don't even know what's happening here. Do you even have a Tron bike? I mean,
I know. No.
No, we're not in the Simon Schofield territory. Not in the Schofield territory yet.
Yeah, no, I'll admit I may have taken out the award for who won tonight, but I've been schooled on some originalities of Zwift. So kind of I'll go into the next race a bit more prepared with some of the Zwift history that I don't know. But yeah, looking forward to next week, Innsbruck Ring. That is another great classic. I love that one, actually. That's a great one to race. Just with that real kicker of a climb going up on those cobbles. It's going to be pretty gangbusters. Only 3 more races left of the classics too. So yeah, I'm excited for next week already after the excitement of tonight.
Yeah, actually, I had a lot of fun doing the World of Zwift for the Innsbruck Ring. That course is iconic over and over and over again. There's names that have been like swapped from teams to teams. We go way back on the Innsbruck Ring when it comes to amazing moments actually that have been seen on that course, just because it is such a great course for esports. It's such a great course for racing.
Mm.
So many different. We're talking fusion. The Callis Cup with fusion. They use that. We saw the Tour of Zwift on it. We saw Pro Am racing on it. We saw the Kiss Super League on it. I mean, so many times over and over again. Pretty awesome. Iconic moments. Make sure to check out World of Zwift on Monday. I really enjoyed putting that one together. Also, if you do want to check this out, if you want to check out this course, obviously we're going to be broadcasting all of the European races. So Eastern, Central, and Western. Myself and Dave Toll will be on that. WTRL TTT, obviously later this week on Thursday. If you haven't done so already, everybody make sure to hit those follow, subscribe, wherever you're watching. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We did just recently hit 10,000 over on YouTube. So big thanks to that, everybody. And good to see everybody in chat. Chat was really active tonight. Always love to see that. So really, really appreciate it. And I always love the whiteboard schooling. I think we both schooled each other a little bit tonight. So
Yeah,
it was a
I'll take that.
ton of fun. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And as always, right on.